Katarina main, by the way. So we're coming onto the Rift with a very glorious view of the various wildlife available to your senses on the Rift, but interesting drafts to talk about there. Your initial thoughts now, you've had a little bit of time to think about it. We were talking MNM's mid-jungle's pretty good, but side lanes from NYYRIKKI potentially quite dangerous. Have you got a favorite coming into this first match today?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I definitely do see a lot of comfort from both teams here. You've got Kana on his Hecarim, you've got Mishigu onto his Ziggs, and then if you look on the other side, I think it's what we talked about a little on the desk, is that Petoshka is not going to play on anything that's aggressive. He took a step back. He was also playing blue side, right? So there was no counter pick right there. And they have all eyes on that mid jungle from the side of NYYRIKKI. I feel like this is going to be Desidera and Aero trying to shut down Kana and Royal Cannon, who make all the plays on the map in the early game. And if you also look at their summoners, Royal Cannon is going for that ignite. Oh, yeah. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of action with Kana towards the mid of the map to try and shut down the Sylas.
All right, all eyes on mid-jungle 2v2. And honestly, for NYYRIKKI, that's easier said than done, because let's be real, Royal Cannon and Kana have been putting on incredible performances so far. What they were doing even yesterday versus X7 of all people was brilliant for the first 30 minutes, and then it kind of fell apart. They've got to try and stabilize a little bit here today. They got their NYYRIKKI got their first win yesterday. See what they can do here against MNM, who've been on the rise.
The very interesting thing here is also to take a look at where the junglers start, right? Yeah. You've got both junglers starting towards the bot side of the map, which means that they're going to end up towards the top side of the map. Now, top side of the map is a little bit of a noodle fight. Yeah. You've got a Set and you've got a Cho'Gath. They both kind of want to scale, but the thing is that Hecarim and Set have pretty good setup to sort of shut down that Cho'Gath before he starts getting the stacks, before he starts getting too tanky for his own good. Now, going back to what this Cho'Gath is going to do for NYYRIKKI, it's sort of like what Namera said. You have this beefy line in front of your carries, but I'm like, that's an Ezreal and that's a Sylas, and don't see too much continuity in the damage, which means that that Xin Zhao and that Cho'Gath need to tank for a majority of the time and not die. Whilst if we look on the other side of the map, you've got the Akshan, you've got the Set, you've got the Hecarim, you've got the Ziggs, you have so many sources of damage. It's just leaning towards who's gonna get ahead first.
Yeah, and while obviously Abagnale is on the Yuumi, that might add a little bit of survivability. It's still got to get to the point where they've got the items so they can hold it together, and you've called it out already. That is just so much damage to deal with. Of course, I am really excited to see what Royal Cannon can do on the Akshan. He's got the Ignite, you've called it out. He's on this champion that needs to get things going early, and honestly, if there was a player at the minute on this Rift, I feel like he's one of the guys who could do it. Something caught you right?
That was a pretty good read right there. If you see, Aero instantly moved towards his jungler because they called for assistance. Kana is so much faster at farming his jungle camps than the Xin Zhao. So Hecarim is faster than the Xin Zhao, so they expected from the side of NYYRIKKI for it to be an invade from the side of Hecarim. Now that they know they've stopped the Xin Zhao from taking the Gromp, Kana can actually move down, take the scuttle, and he can also move to the other side of the map, because if you can see Royal Cannon in the mid lane, he has so much priority, and so does the bot lane of MNM. So Hecarim right here can do whatever he wants, and he's actually going to go towards that Xin Zhao on the Gromp.
I mean, every lane shoved in, and Kana's here to start throwing down some more pressure. Desidera is just probably going to have to back away from this. I mean, maybe he can stick around. He's going to be a 2v1 right now. Set's thinking about coming around the corner, but it's just too late, and Desidera gets a hold of it, but I like the pressure idea there.
I like the pressure too, and at this point you will see that Desidera started backing, and now he has to stay towards the top side of the map to cover for his Cho'Gath. They might actually have their eyes towards getting Bobista right there or blow his flash, which is what they did. But if you look on the other side of the map, Hecarim is taking everything. Kana has taken top control of the river, he's put a really deep ward into Desidera's jungle, and now he's taking control of the bot side of the map, which means that the whole bot side, Royal Cannon onto that Akshan, as well as the MNM bot lane, can pressure the bot side of the map, which is exactly where Desidera is going to be returning to. So look at Dr. Chaos. He's already in there. He's going to put down the vision. They're going to be spotting the Xin Zhao everywhere that he is.
And that control wall going down. Wait, they've just walked past it. They've just left it alone. They're going to see whether anybody else is around, and I think maybe Desidera will come and clear out that ward, and he does in fact do that. Phew, breath of relief. I was a bit worried there, but I'm going to call it out. This is another early game in which MNM look really competent, really coherent, and are making solid moves across the map.
I mean, first of all, oh my God, okay, our observers are smurfing because I was just about to talk about the vision, and look how much of these red dots you see in NYYRIKKI's jungle. Wherever Desidero walks, they know exactly where he is. Now, the Zinza, of course, is a little bit of an early game playmaker as well. So you want to be getting towards your Sylas, especially towards that level 6, right? Where you can get either the Hecarim or the action ultimate on your Sylas, and you can start making plays. But if you spot down where that Zinza is the entire time, Royal Cannon knows how to play safe, and the bot lane knows how to play safe.
I'm tilted, Trouble. I thought that control would have been spotted. Azator and Abagnale walked over it, and it's still there! Quite upset. That control ward has been walked over 3 times, and it's still there below the red buff. That vision you called out, it's part of it, the fact it's still there, the fact that it's been put down and not cleared away is such a frustration, and I wonder if that's going to come back and bite them.
So, right here, I think that we have both teams that actually don't want to throw arms yet.
Sure.
They just want to chill, they just want to scale towards the late game. And we mentioned how if MNM have enough damage to burn through all the healing and shielding that the Yuumi is going to do and burst someone down, it's going to be an easier fight for them later on. If that Yuumi gets to stick on a target like the Zinza or the Sylas and stay alive forever, this is going to be very problematic for an MNM that is pretty squishy overall towards the bot side of the map. Now, what is really important here is to again throw to the people that watch us who's NYYRIKKI and who is MNM, especially since that start of the game is a little bit slower as well. NYYRIKKI coming again from the second division, they've played Tilia Masters, they're known from the second divisions, but it's the first time playing in the NLC with that roster that has gelled together. Now, going back to MNM, they've been relegated, they've come back, they've been relegated, and come back. They see they're a good spot onto that ward right there. He just summoned 2 people, buddy.
He does, however, get the level 6 off that and just get to walk away. Yeah, he does get the steal away, and credit to Desidero there. I think he got away with that one. He's go back and thank you. That ward,
honestly,
it's gone, finally.
I think that was a little bit of a whoopsie from the sort of MNM. You have committed time to walk your Akshan towards there, walk your Akshan towards there, your Hecarim is there. Not securing that red buff is a little bit of a whoopsie because you could have set that Zinza further behind. But as you can see, it's now Kana who is behind in tempo. He's still level 5. He's gonna get level 6 off of his own blue buff, whilst Desidero is already clearing up his Groms and he's looking for that level 6. We've talked about possibly towards the mid lane of the map where you've got the setup with the chains and with the Sylas. Possibly, if you see the Hecarim as well, still that ultimate have that engage.
Okay, I mean, that's one of the strongest ultimates that Sylas can steal. And
straight into mid lane.
And look who's there with him. Jin's outside, he's become a pet owner, got himself a cat in the book. Giving yourself more intelligence as you go along with that is maybe a bit more as Mishigu and Dr. Chaos around as well.
I need to give props to MNM right here because we mentioned how after Desidero is level 6, he's probably going to look to take a pick in the mid lane together with Aero. They instantly read that. They moved Mishigu into the mid lane. They have him clearing up this wave, which means that Aero cannot move away from the mid lane. The Ezreal is not that quick at clearing the bot side of the map. So I feel like so far MNM and Kana have been taking the upper hand in this whole trade in the jungle. The bot side of the map, there is nothing. You can't dive Mishigu because she was already in the mid lane. He has also spotted them.
Though. And they got a flash on top of him. I don't think he can just get out. That's an ult up into the air, but it's just a 21-gun salute, and he's down for first blood.
I was just complimenting him.
Literally,
I was just complimenting him.
What are you doing? Trouble.
I mean, it wasn't my fault. I literally said, this is such a clever play because putting your Ziggs in the mid lane means he's not diveable in the bot lane because there's no one there. And this is what NYYRIKKI tried to do. They tried to push into the jungle to try and dive whoever was bot lane, and the Mishigu just walks into them.
Exactly. I was about to say, look, the prize that they get from the early sort of jungle pressure was Kana getting the Rift Hell for free. Mishigu gets to back to lane, they can stop the dragon happening. Instead, Mishigu dies and they get a dragon. It's a much more even, honestly, positive trade.
The problem here is that also the Ziggs has burnt his flash.
Yeah.
So he can't necessarily move too freely around in the bot lane, especially with the Zinza on the loose. On the other hand, though, again, the 2 junglers, if you look at the Desidero, if you look at Kana, Kana is ahead about... He'll be 20 CS ahead at this point. You see 3.2k versus 3.3k. Of course, Zinza also has a kill to his name due to Mishigu going down. But Kana overall has been ahead, and there's a big wave building up on the top side of the map. Maybe they could also consider diving Betoshka, or even better, taking his flash.
They can certainly give it a go. Of course, Cho'Gath, if you can land things like the Rupture, if you can land things like the Feral Scream, you've got ways to turn around those dives, but looks like Hannah's going to instead turn back towards that Skull Grab, pick that up instead, and maybe look to use this Rift Herald somewhere, and maybe link up with Roll Cannon, who's now heading up into the river as well.
Honestly, I would like to see Kana drop the Rift Herald close to the Ziggs, because it's going to be so easy, especially with the satchel charge, to take a tower down really quickly. You just put a lot of, a few hits, like Patoshka's going to take a few hits here.
And there's a showstopper afterwards. No way, no how Patoshka goes down, and that is an evening up of the kill score. Not going to put the Herald down though, just go for the reset.
Yeah, I think the reset here is really good, and you just run it down towards the bot side of the map, and you try to get your Rift Herald around your Ziggs, again, where you can take the tower really quickly. Now, going back over the replay, we have seen Kana going around the tops of the map, which we said at the, in the early stages of the game, that there is a bunch of setup together with the set and the Hecarim. You saw how much CC that Cho'Gath was under, and of course, when you don't have a bunch of defenses, when you don't have a bunch of these stacks already on you, it's going to be really rough to survive. Positives for Patoshka, he did have his teleport available to get back into lane, so he hasn't missed on much, and he also did not burn his flash, which means a reoccurring gank happens. Patoshka will have his flash available to try and get away.
Absolutely. Does it, you know, you lose at least a minimum there. I think that's fair to say. And you've still got a few minutes until this dragon, so you can sort of think about setting up your lanes to maybe be around and turning things around as NYYRIKKI start pairing up with some of their bot side of the map to try and control this bot side river, as there is a Herald in Cannon's inventory, as we've mentioned before. Maybe thinking about dropping it mid, or just looking for a reset for Cannon, not quite sure.
At this point, honestly, because the Ziggs has also lost the flash, I would like to see the team moving around together with Michigo to try and put into action that Rift Herald, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to run it down the bot lane, possibly try to clear out the wave, but there's just no wave with Michigo. This is why I would like the Ziggs to go towards the mid lane of the map, where he still has flash available, and we all know that Akshan does really well on the side lane as well.
Okay, well, thus far, that's not what's happening. Got to see where the troubles
again,
requests come through. They're going to go again.
They're pinging bot side of the map because they know that the Sidere has Abagnale on him, and he's not currently on the bot side of the map. That is great stuff right there. They will take one more wave. The Ziggs will push, and they will also sit in that bush. Now, I don't think this is a great move if they want to dive, because Aero still has his TP available. But again, that combo with the Ziggs and the Rift Herald charging the tower is just very deadly for the tower.
Yeah, it disappears, in fact, is what it is. You know, it's like, obviously, it's one of those things that Herald goes up in priority the more if you've got the Ziggs, just because of the extended execution range. And they get that first tower, it extends the gold lead. They've got their about 2,000 or so gold as it stands. Not a bad start. It's just been relatively quiet, I think it's fair to say.
I mean, yeah, you've got an Ezreal which scale into the late game. You've got the Cho'Gath as well and the Sylas. You know that these guys are menaces when it comes to the late game, both in tankiness and a bunch of damage. And on the other hand, you've got the Ziggs. You need a few items on the Ziggs for it to blow someone up. And talking about items, Ludenseko completed from Michigo. You also have the Sunderer completed for the Hecarim as well as top laner items, and also Gold Drinker for the Sidere onto that Zinza. So a bunch of mythics have already been completed. Now, I really like what MNM are doing. They're ahead of the play right here, because they have transitioned their bot lane towards the top side of the map. There's already one tower plating that has fallen, and having the Ziggs towards the top side of the map, you open bot, you open top, and then you can bleed your pressure through mid.
Azator wisely arcane shifts away there, as there was an attempted look at a gank there, and as you kind of called out, is an Everfrost for the Cho'Gath. That's not full tank, and of course it's Patoshka. This is the guy who's known for Riven, for Jax, that kind of thing. Exactly. I want to see whether this goes even more into the AP front, because I would enjoy that. I just don't know whether that would be sensible.
Oh, this is really dangerous. Patoshka is like really clever here, because he knows he cannot see the Hecarim and he cannot see where the Rakan is. Now, I'm really liking the fact that they have suddenly started playing around Michigo. It's just so important to take the Ziggs around the map. I've mentioned so many times that Ziggs is an AP Caitlyn. He loves pushing the lane. He loves taking towers because he has the ability to take them down really easily. Now you can push a bunch more waves on the top side of the map and then reset and go towards that dragon area. Now I think what they're going to do here is obviously they're going to sacrifice the dragon because it's already up. You don't have time for a reset, and you also have the entire top side of the map already warded and ready and available for you. So that was a pretty good push. There's a bunch of minion waves that went towards Michigo, and then he will also be able to go back to the fountain, possibly buy his boots here, because you will need that extra movement speed versus the Silas and versus the Cho'Gath, of course, and then transition towards the middle where you've got another Rift Herald going to the hands of MNM.
Absolutely, and all the while, you saw that dragon did go down, but then that rotation up to the Herald, it's a pretty well-timed shove on top side, all things said from MNM. And it is Hex Gates time for the additional space of group teleporting. That is a probably very dead set, but Babista doing a pretty good job with the shield there. Still goes down. Zidre did have to burn the flash, though, but clean stuff from NYYRIKKI.
Honestly, that was a 4-man dive. I see a flash, a heal, an ignite, and 4 ultimates burned.
Yeah.
To just kill a set. And Babista does still yet to keep his flash. I'd say this is a big W for the side of MNM because they get that mid lane tower for free. And if I'm not wrong, they could very easily try to get a second charge because it's just Babista in the mid lane. There's no one else to defend that.
Now there's the Zidre and the Yuumi as well to try and turn us around. But because you said there's no ultimate, they just burned the bot and they're both just gone. That's them dead. They overdive, they overforce, they can't defend it.
That
and they
should
lose
be a
mid-lane.
tier 2 mid lane as well. That is so, honestly, start to finish, this is such good macro coming from the side of MNM. Whoever the shot caller is, props to them because MNM have been playing around Michigus Ziggs so well. Taking bot side, done. Taking top side, done. Taking mid, done. You see that the entirety of NYYRIKKI down the bottom, we just mentioned they burnt everything to kill Babista. So the second Desidero walks in with a cat, no ultimates available to them, they instantly go down, and they also gift wrap that tier 2 mid lane tower over to MNM. Now this is going to be very dangerous because you're like, you have a Xin Zhao and you've got a Cho'Gath, so you could technically face check, but you can't because they're not tanky enough yet. If you run into a Hecarim and a Rakan, you're going to get locked down for ages.
And like, this is the MNM that you've said has gone down and up and down and up this league
is a new
so
beast
much.
of an
And it's a
MNM.
completely new beast, and I am really, really enjoying what we're doing. Yes, the last few games have actually been quite action-packed for them, all about the mid-jungle and the dives and getting those snowballs rolling. This is a different look of cleanly snowballing a game with the Ziggs. We were a little bit nervous, or at least I was, about potentially being a little slow, about not moving
Babista
Ziggs early. And
Is he ice skating? He was ice skating for a little bit.
Brilliant. I mean, I wish I could ice skate like Set like that. I wish I could play the League of Legends like MNM could right now, because I have been really impressed. Their game versus X7 yesterday was inches away from a beautiful, beautiful upset, and I feel their 2-3 record is a little bit unfair to them after that first week.
If I could make a comparison here, a very light comparison.
Okay.
This reminds me of 2021 Rogue from the LEC.
I see where you're going with this.
They dominate bot side of the map, they bleed the pressure top, they take mid, and then slowly but surely they're choking you in your own game, and then you're suddenly 4,000 gold ahead that MNM is right now, and you're like, how has this happened? But if you look at the map, 2 towers are missing from mid lane for the side of NYYRIKKI. 2 other towers are missing also from top and bottom from NYYRIKKI. That means that MNM now have a very easy pathing into the Sidera's jungle. You can put down a bunch of wards, which means that now you have priority in the river and you can start denying dragons for NYYRIKKI.
Appropriate timing to bring that up, because it's about 1.5 minutes until that next dragon spawns, and as you said, there's the vision control going down nice and early, and I just don't think NYYRIKKI are going to have much of an opportunity to even defend this dive in bot. Toshka has got to flash away. The teleport will come through from Miro as well to help defend it, and
but that was what? That was 1 Rakan W and 1 Ziggs ult, and it took a flash and a teleport out of NYYRIKKI. It feels like every time MNM are pressing buttons, somebody either dies or pays dearly with a bunch of summoners. And this is what happened here for NYYRIKKI as well. Now, let's take a little bit of a look before the dragon fight and see what the setup looks like for this dragon, because it's going to mean soul point for the set of NYYRIKKI. So this is very important for them to make sure that they've got their vision down and they're ready to fight MNM. Now, talking about fighting MNM, this is the perfect time, if you are behind, which NYYRIKKI is, to fight your opponent team on the what I call 1.5 item deficit, which means that MNM have not yet completed the second item, so they're sitting on Mythic and a couple of components, which means that it could be easy-ish to turn the tides around. Very important. Moonstone completed for Abagnale onto that Yuumi. Can he keep his teammates alive, especially Aero? I think Aero is going to be the one to highlight during the fights. Can he zone away Michigo? Can he dive into the backline together with the cat and stay alive while doing damage?
if they can win this fight, they secure themselves soul point. That would be a big deal. If they lose it, though, this game is looking pretty close to lights out with the gold lead that's already gone down, and that's a nasty chunk. But of course, as you mentioned, Moonstone helps turn that one around a little bit with the help of some zoomies, and Cannon just going rogue on the side there, off vision.
The thing that NYYRIKKI haven't done here is they haven't necessarily pushed that mid lane wave, which means MNM are getting to walk into that river for free. And look at Royal Cannon's positioning. He's going around.
Oh no, Desidere's just gone before we can speak about it. The final chapter comes through. I just don't think it's going to be enough. 3 dead already. Dragon resets and Patoshka will be felled as well. That is a clean ace. Nothing to write home for NYYRIKKI there. They're gone.
That is a clean ace. That is a clean game from MNM. It's honestly A to Z. They're pushing the mid wave so they can easily enter through the jungle. You see, Royal Cannon came from their red side, and there were another 2 members coming from the blue side, and then there were another 2 members coming in from the river. So they were all over the place. And who goes down first? The one who holds the smite for the side of NYYRIKKI. So if we see this one more time, you see that Dr. Chaos is going to go towards the right side of the map where Desidere is, but Bisa has already walked forward, so he is zoning away the carries from NYYRIKKI, and Royal Cannon is coming from their own jungle. So they don't necessarily know where to focus first. The jungle goes down. Abagnale, we said, is that Yuumi strong enough with just the Moonstone to keep people alive? The answer is no. MNM are going to deny Soul and take Baron. And with so many towers down, I'm thinking that this Baron is going to be used very wisely to push down the 2 outer towers remaining for NYYRIKKI.
Oh, what a ridiculous series of plays, from all of that gold to getting control of the red side jungle to that dragon fight where they get 5 for none, they stop the dragon stacking, and then they get Baron on spawn. Ridiculous series of play for MNM. They're up 7,000, 7,500 gold, deservedly at this point in the game.
Yeah, and I'm wondering again, where is NYYRIKKI's damage? Because I don't think the Ezreal is going to be consistent damage enough to take members down. I don't think the Sylas is enough to dive the backline and survive when there's so much lockdown CC on the side of MNM. And I'm just wondering, is this NYYRIKKI composition, like we mentioned on the desk, enough? Has it got enough of damage output?
They're gonna try, and that's Mishiku who goes down. Massive shutdown that's picked up by Yuumi, but now Dr. Chaos needs to think about escaping. Aero taken pretty low, but remember, he's got the Yuumi on his back. Zoomies will help turn this around, but Desidere falls, and Cannon is coming around the back. He's heroic swinging, and yes, you're right, there's Babista, Canna on the killing spree, and the hooves keep thundering forwards. Azatol will get out of danger with the arcane shift, and I appreciate the attempt, NYYRIKKI, but it falls flat one more time. They just don't have the damage. You called it already.
Well, they need to kill Mishigu, but then Babista arrives and everyone else arrives, and it's just not enough. They overcommit, they reach out underneath the tower, and then the rest of the MNM squad come into the rescue. So yes, Mishigu ends up, ruining a little bit his KDA right there, but again, the same issues underlie still. They're gonna use that Baron. You see Babista was on the bot side of the map. He was trying to figure out, he was trying to push out wave to try and get in another tower, but what successfully NYYRIKKI has done is stop the push, which means that this Baron is completely nullified from taking any objectives from the map from the side of MNM. Really good engage right there from Desidere. They catching off Mishigo off guard, and also Dr. Chaos almost goes down. Now, you see that Babista was actually building the waves in the bottom of the map to try and push in this tower, but the second that Royal Cannon also joins the fray, he's just so strong. He's such a tank killer, especially on action with Kraken, that the damage output was just too much. NYYRIKKI had to back off. They knew that Babista also has flash, so it's very dangerous if you flash in and grip someone.
It feels a little bit like that scene in Jurassic Park where you've got the T-Rex chasing you after you in the Jeep. It's like, oh my days, as this set, this is Hecarim running at Mach 5 behind me. It's like, this has gone very wrong very quickly. And I appreciate that NYYRIKKI went for the attempt, that they tried to stop the Baron push before it begins, that they did actually find an okay engage. It's just, it's possibly a little bit too little and a little bit too late, and that's a bit crazy to say only 20 minutes into the game, but it is such a significant lead.
I know, it's like about 8,000 gold in MNM's pocket, and again, MNM is just gonna keep getting stronger. The Ziggs now has 2.5 items, same for Akshan. You see how tanky suddenly Babista and Kana are with the addition of Sterak's as well. And I think Royal Cannon right here, they think they have him
I think he's in trouble. Yeah, he's gonna be getting a little bit of support. That's Kana coming through the mid-jungle. Of course they're here. And he's out, and he's throwing down a comeuppance as well. No, he's stolen from Silas. That's appropriate, isn't it? That's gonna be 2. Well, 1 for 1 actually. I apologize. Aero now on the back side of this, trying to see whether he can find some mirror miracles, some magic to work with, but that is the quickness. He's going to get knocked up and knocked down. An aura of dread, I think that's been going through NYYRIKKI's heart already. One final bouncing bomb secures it, and another play is turned around.
I can't fault NYYRIKKI for trying to make a pick onto Royal Cannon right there, but the entirety of MNM were building up their way towards the bottom of the map. Obista also had his TP up and available. I think this game is almost as good as gone unless NYYRIKKI can somehow find a miraculous pick on both Michigu and Royal Cannon and leave MNM with no damage dealers. I don't really see a way of this turning around because Obista looks big, it looks like he has a lot of HP, but he's so squishy because he's gone towards that AP round.
Yeah, it's not like Set and Hecarim are known for having low base damages at this point. You know, it's all well and good getting rid of those guys, but if you lose all of your health bars doing it, then maybe it's trouble. But here we go again. One last attempt, and that's a stopwatch. That's a stolen quickness, but it's already 5% HP. He gets out for now. It's a flash from Vista. Not going to quite get it with that haymaker. But Royal Cannon gets it from across the wall with the comeuppance. Now Dr. Chaos heading forwards with the grand entrance. A knock-up from the Rupture from Patoshka. And I think he might fall down as well. A heroic swing forces a flash away from the giant void monstrosity, and another play is just a little bit too far. It's feeling more and more like desperation.
I was about to say that was a little bit of a desperate play coming in by Aero because I could see it if Yuumi could follow you with a teleport. I'm like, fair enough, you do have backup. But Abagnale was just running all the way to this fight, and you're TPing into 3. You see where you TP, you have vision where you TPing in, and he just instantly had to pop on his stopwatch, and from there on out, his team could not follow up. Again, Patoshka is just not tanky, and the Zinza was not able to sit in the front lines, and by the time Yuumi is there, the fight is as good as dead.
It's over. I mean, it's not 100 to 0, but it's 100 to 5%. Like, that's off basically the duration of one grand entrance from Rakan. Your health bar is just gone.
And also I felt like that is your sole point on the Dragon. You should not be throwing your chances of a fight away like this. I don't know if Aero saw an opening right there and he felt really strong, especially now that he's completed his second item, to just go in and 100 to 0 someone really quickly. But it's just so difficult when you've got Dr. Chaos and you've got Obista with so much CC in their hands.
All right, Analyst hard mode trouble.
Oh no.
NYYRIKKI are, as it stands, nearly 10,000 gold down. Not quite, about 9.5. Yeah, 9.5. They've only got 2 dragons. Exactly, it's only 26. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's give them that. They have no control across the map. They're down 4 turrets to 1. What on earth do you do, aside from praying for a miracle, to come back into this game? Is there any angles?
You figure out what you're going to play next Monday?
No, there is no silver lining from trouble. I'm just saying that is about as dead as brutal as it gets.
It looks a little bit grim because the only time the play worked is when Michigu overstepped in the mid lane, and then they caught him off guard with the Sidra playing the front line. Now, of course, the Yuumi has almost got her Putrefier up and available. She's got her Moonstone. It's been stacking. You can sit onto the Sylas. All eyes on Aero. He has the Hecarim ultimate as well. But also MNM do see that the Sylas has the Hecarim ultimate. You don't necessarily want to fight into this. The problem is that the only member that were able to cut off from the NYYRIKKI was Michigu, and now he has Flash.
Yeah, okay, I'll call out. It's not a silver lining, but it's like a tin lining. Oh. Azator has 3 items now. Maybe he can pull some miracle work. It's a very small chance, but maybe that can be an answer, as Dr. Chaos might be saying, yeah, you're completely wrong, Sam, and...
here goes your jungler.
Yeah, your jungler's gone. That's an onslaught of shadow across the wall, and Azator is fleeing, flashes away from the Mega Inferno Bomb, and Patoshka is left out to the wolves. Double kill for Michigu on the Ziggs.
Yeah, straight into Baron we go again, and you see the second Desiderius walks a tiny bit forward, he instantly goes down. The lockdown from the Rakan is just way too much. There's 4 damage dealers on the side of MNM, so he instantly burns from AD and AP damage. Really hard to itemize against. He doesn't even have a second item. That gold drink is not going to give you enough.
Look, he's trying, it's going in, but I just don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. Sylas and Yuumi dead once more. It's a double to Babista, and Azator is the one man left standing. And yes, you can throw up the occasional Mystic shot, but it means nothing at this point.
It's just so sad to see that NYYRIKKI are going down without a fight. I felt like MNM have been playing the map Stella from minute 1. And as you can see here, we mentioned that all eyes on Aero because he has that Hecarim ultimate. But 1v5 is going to be impossible when you're 10,000 gold behind as well.
It's only 2 items. It's not a death cap. It's not 4 items. It's not 40 minutes in.
He's so squishy.
Exactly. This is just not... You don't quite have the damage yet. You don't quite have the stats to tank through that yet. And I'm not sure you ever will in this game because, yeah, now it is over 10,000. Now it's more like 12,000. Now it's a second Baron. And I think MNM are quickly closing in on a very convincing victory.
Yeah, this is going to be very rough for the set of NYYRIKKI to try and defend. They don't necessarily have the best wave play. I mean, you do have the Cho'Gath, but you see that Cho'Gath and Sylas are both melee champions. They're going to have to get all that minion wave to try and shut it down and push it back. And the second they do that, there you go. Royal Cannon is just going to try to jump in. Gets the Yumi ult.
Oh, they thought they might be able to catch him going a bit deeper. Said there'll be a fight in the mid lane as Azrator takes most of his HP. Canna is going to walk out, none the worse for wear. That is an absolute war horse right now. The armor plating on that one's looking more like a cataphract. So much damage coming across from that true shot barrage, but again, it just doesn't mean enough, and Patoshka's left to deal with Babista. He doesn't want to do that. That's not bad from Aero at the back end of this. That's a shutdown winter turn, though, as Royal Cannon bring him straight back to life. It's just not enough. The teleporting down bot to Zidre falls as well, and the moment of feel good there is immediately undone by the action. It's just over.
That's action, baby. You kill my Ziggs, I'll kill you. My Ziggs is back up and available. He'll TP in. I think that was stellar stuff coming in from MNM. That was class play. I think after week 2, they're continuing their clean playstyle. And honestly, I would love to hear the interview after with Asheron because I want to know who is shot calling, what is happening in this team that has made such a huge